Hey, what's up guys? MotardSteve here. I'm sure you guys seen this coming. This has become like a trend in the motovlogging community. You know, the 10 things or X number of things I hate about my bike. Now, I'll be fair, there's a lot about the DR I like. But in this video, I'm going to focus on what I don't like about the DR. First, and probably the most obvious thing, because it's a DR, is I hate its weight. I hate how fucking heavy this bike is. Now granted, once you get used to riding with it, you don't really feel the weight as far as just daily riding until you get on another bike. For instance, you know, I was fine with this bike. I was used to it. It did everything I wanted it to do, more or less. Maybe I had to put a little effort into it, but I was generally okay with it. And then I rode something like Wax SBK's WR250 just around in the parking lot one time at Cars and Coffee. And dude, man, that thing just, you can lay that thing over from side to side so damn easy. You know, it weighs 360 pounds. To put it in perspective, the DRZ weighs 320 pounds. The WR250 weighs, I think, 300 or just slightly under 300 pounds. So she's got about 60 extra pounds to her. And you people that know things about bikes, 60 pounds is a lot for a bike. So that's what I hate. It's a fat ass. So the next thing is MPG. This bike does not get the best miles per gallon. Even when I had it in stock gearing, didn't have the snorkel removed or any, basically the bike was bone stock performance-wise. It got about 45-ish miles per gallon, which isn't terrible. It's not terrible at all, but it's not super great. I mean, a Grom, I know it's a Grom, but a Grom gets 100 miles to the gallon. A WR250R gets around 70. So 45 is just kind of sucks. I mean, granted, I can put like $3 in this thing and go to work all week, almost around 100 miles for a whole week. And, you know, so I'm not complaining. But bike-wise, the MPG is really not that great. The third thing I dislike about the DR is it's a carbureted bike. Now, I'm not going to say, oh, carburetors are shitty, EFI is the best. I mean, there's a lot of people that prefer carbureted bikes over electronic fuel injection, and they all have their different reasons. And another thing, and really the big reason why I don't like it, because it's a carb, because if you want to tune it or change it, you got to start taking shit apart, you got to shim the needle, you got to get different jets. You just plug it into the damn little port, press some buttons, and like, oh, I'm done. Simple, man. I would love if this bike had electronic fuel injection. The next thing is looks. I mean, it's a pretty simple looking dual sport. You know, it's an older bike, it hasn't changed much in forever. All it is a gas tank and some side panels and a couple fenders. Like this doesn't even come on at stock. The stock headlight is like this big square thing, and then like this fucking, like just a little thing here. So I don't know. You know, I really like the other bikes, like the DRZ and like the WR250, and I think maybe even the CRF 250L. I like that like radiator shrouds they have on the front. It just gives it like that aggressive like cut look. And it's just like, it's just a fucking gas tank, man. It's just a gas tank. Although it's great for putting stickers on. Metal gas tanks are great for holding stickers on because they don't put bubbles and shit in it. Apparently plastic gas tanks breathe, is what I heard. So stickers kind of bubble up if you stick them on plastic tanks. But you know, look-wise, it's not the best looking Supermoto. Although Evo Moto does have a pretty badass looking DR650 Supermoto that he like spent a lot of time plasti dipping and like tricking out. Oh, the next thing, and probably the most predictable thing besides the weight, is the fucking power. This thing makes pretty much the same horsepower as a DRZ while weighing 40 pounds more. Let that sink in. And it has 250 more cubic centimeters of engine than the DRZ, but it makes the same power. The only big difference with the DR650, something that I actually like about it, is the fact that it's torquey. It has more torque than WR450, So you can really lug it around, especially if you're a newer rider and you're riding real slow off-road. You don't have to worry about stalling it out, and then you don't have to worry about like slipping the clutch a lot to get to the power, because it has a lot of torque from down low. But still, there's no reason why this damn thing should only be putting out like 36 horsepower or mid 30 horsepower for a bike this damn heavy. I think it should at least be putting out like 40 minimum. Some people claim, oh, it puts out 45 at the crank. Well, yeah, not all of it makes it to the wheel, trust me. It doesn't. The next thing is the suspension. And all you fellow DR650 riders know what the fuck I'm talking about. It's like Suzuki designed this bike for like a dude that weighs like $120. I mean, look at this suspension, and my suspension's good. Despite all the wheelies, it's good. But look, I can just stand the bike up and just barely put any pressure on the front, and it just sinks. Look at that. Just watch the little bumper cover. Watch it crinkle up. I'm like barely putting any freaking pressure on it, and it's just, it's a very plushy suspension. Pretty good for riding on the road, because it's nice and plushy. You don't feel bumps as much. But when you take it off-road, it sucks. I mean, in the rear is really not all that great either. I think the guy put an aftermarket shock on the rear, but still, I mean, look at it. There's not a whole lot of rebound to it. But a lot of people have said riding it, it's like a damn Cadillac on the road. So I got to give it credit for that. I mean, it is a comfy ride on the road, but if you're going to do anything aggressive, like a lot of wheelies and like some jumps and shit, this suspension is not going to cut it. And then the next thing, and this could just be me being nitpicky, I don't know, really I had to pick some shit I generally didn't like about it. I sat on my phone and wrote this beforehand, but the tack, this up here is yes, it's simple, yes, it works, but it's just, I wish it looked more high-tech. I wish it looked more sexier than it does. I mean, it's just this little fucking analog speedometer, whatever you want to call it. There's no tachometer, so you got to get on the internet and put your gearing in, and that's the only way you really know what RPMs you're at. Like for me, with the 1548 gearing, I know that at like 62 RPMs, I'm at like 5,000 RPMs, and that's like my limit. I don't like to go past that. And I know like the rev limiter at 6,500 is around like 80. So yeah, there's no tachometer. So when you're doing wheelies, you kind of have to, it's a lot of guesswork until you get used to it. You know, a lot of people are like, oh, make sure you're in the power band when you do wheelies and shit. But you're not going to know on this bike because there's no tachometer. And then you just got like the stupid turn signal light, the high beam light, and the neutral light. And I mean, that's really all you have up here for a tack. And of course, you know, I added this little star, the famous blue star that everyone thinks is my fucking high beam light, when it's not. Wheelies. This bike, while you guys have seen, I have gotten a lot better at wheelies. I think a lot of the thing that is holding me back, even though I know other people can wheelie this bike no problem, is the weight of the bike. The way the mass is centralized in this bike, or the way it's distributed, I feel like a lot of the weight is up here in this region rather than kind of back towards the middle. So it has a very fucking weird balance point. Like, I almost feel like balance point on this bike, it's closer to 12 o'clock than most bikes. And, you know, like I said, I don't know if that's just how the weight's distributed or the fact that it's heavier. But, like, balance point feels so weird on this bike. And I'm not knocking it. I know there's plenty of people that can do balance point wheelies on these bikes, no problem. So, you know, I'm not trying to cover up my, I forgot what I'm trying to say. I'm not trying to cover up my incompetence in wheeling this bike. I know I'm not a pro at it, but I feel like on a lighter bike where the mass was more distributed evenly, I feel like it'd be a little easier for me. And then probably the last thing that I'm going to say, and this is really just me kind of making something up to pick about, is these stupid stock mirrors. I fucking hate these things. These stock mirrors suck. As you can see, this one, I don't know if you guys have noticed, but over the last couple months, this mirror has just kind of been like just pointed down at the ground. I've tried so hard. First it was this mirror, then the bike came with like 5 or 6 different sets of mirrors. That should tell you enough right there. The fucking mirrors suck. And they just kept, like, they wouldn't tighten up. Like, if I went over like 50, the mirror would just go and blow in this way, and I'd be looking like over here. So I would try to tighten them up. This one's been doing pretty good. It hasn't moved at all. But that one, just over time, it worked its way loose. And then one day I was coming home from work, and it was like leaning over. I went to adjust it some, and the thing literally just fucking ripped off in my hand. And I'm like, really? And like, I just bumped it, and like the rest of it, the shit just started falling off of it. And I just unscrewed it and fucking threw it somewhere on the side of the road. It just fell apart. And they're so ugly. I had some nicer mirrors on here, but when I first took my first trip to Dallas, the metal plate on the right mirror had vibrated itself off, and it was scared the shit out of me, because the first ride I did with SBK, I was just like, dude, after I got to Ray's house, I was like, dude, my bike's making this really weird rattly sound, and I don't know what the hell it is. And it was dark, so I didn't know. I get up the next morning, I check my mirrors as I'm getting on the bike, and I'm like, wait, where's my mirror? Like, the housing's there, but where's the mirror? So the housing was rattling, and I was just like, okay, whatever. Whew, nothing's wrong. It's just the mirror's all fucked. But yeah, guys, that's basically it. It's about really all I can honestly think that I don't like about about my bike. Now, everything else, I mean, it's got its pros and cons. You know, it's a bulletproof damn bike. You can do all kinds of shit. I mean, it's got 24,000 miles. I've had it since like 18,000 miles, and I've rode the piss out of this thing, man. This is my daily. I don't have anything else. I don't have a car. I probably drove my fiance's car like maybe like 4 times to go places since we've been here. I don't know, maybe a little more, but 9 times out of 10, if I'm leaving the house, it's on this, and it's been great to me. But those are some nitpicky things I don't really like about it. And hopefully you guys enjoyed it. Anyway, guys, hope you guys enjoyed the video. I'm gonna go break in this new tire. Later. Can I get a